The Great War. The war to end all wars. 15 to 20 million men would lose their lives in a war that was probably as close as you could get to being as neutral or as colorblind as a war could ever be. A war so terrible the entire world said that we cannot let war ever rise again. And that we need to take every step possible to prevent a future war of this scale from ever occurring. It's a dark topic, and honestly, some of the things that happened were quite dire. But it's a fact. So let's make some fun, because dark humor is the best way to cope with horrific events. So let's go gas some Frenchies in their trenchies.
Once the onset of war, August of 1914 was viewed with confidence by the people of North. Do you imagine the long or dangerous Great War could be? The belief that the war was a defense against the might of their oppressor. Many had sensed patriotism and positivity, and most believed the war would be over within a few months. By December, began to set into the war that would be over anytime soon. This was the strategic picture of the Great War. You see, in 1860, a glimpse of what this war could have been was shown. The American Civil War basically warned of such a conflict. The Europeans didn't take it that seriously. The French were noted for seeing the strategic picture as impossible to use traditional methods in such a war because of the American landscape. The Russians...
With the death of the Archduke, Europe is propelled into chaos. Nations honoring treaties and alliances forged years before are now plunged into a conflict they cannot avoid, sparked by a single gunshot. Here on the Western Front, nations draw their battle lines. The Central Powers of Austria-Hungary and Germany now face the combined alliance of France, Britain, and their colonies. The Great War is about to begin.
Melde gehorsamst! Die russische Zweite Armee wurde bei Tannenberg umfassend zurückgeschlagen. Aber ihre Truppen wurden schneller mobilisiert, als wir es erwartet hatten.
Und was ist mit unserem Vormarsch durch Belgien?
Aus Belgien wird erheblicher Widerstand gemeldet und das britische Expeditionsheer ist nunmehr in den Konflikt eingetreten. Unsere Befähigung, die Westfront zu überrennen, wurde ein wenig eingeschränkt. Aber ich bin zuversichtlich, dass...
Paris?
Bei unserem Durchbruch an der Marne erleiden wir schwere Verluste. Unsere Befehlshaber vor Ort sind versprengt. Von Kluck hat sich mit seinem Armeeverband auf das Nordufer der Aisne zurückgezogen und baut dort Stellungen aus, damit wir uns für einen Großangriff auf Frankreich sammeln können.
Russland im Osten, Großbritannien und Frankreich im Westen. Alle graben sich ein. Wir müssen wachsam bleiben.
Thus the Western Front was established. From the fields of Flanders to the borders of Switzerland, the great nations would make their stand. The fate of millions was now in the hands of a few.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my laptop is slow. Okay. German campaign, 1914. Germany surrounded on all sides by powerful enemies. War has been declared on Russia, but Germany has pushed through Belgium to capture Paris in order to remove the Russian ally to keep the war to one front. This, however, triggered Britain's defensive alliance with Belgium. Unable to reach the sea to outflank the British army was forced to dug in. An unimperial act of humanity, the British agreed to a ceasefire on Christmas Day, but both sides entered no man's land in exchange of gifts and started up a game of football. The others took the time to rest and repair their trenches and recover their dead. This act of compassion was never to be repeated for the remainder of the war. Soon after the events, orders came down to push forward and take new ground and defeat the enemy. So welcome to the Western Front. Need to relearn the control. If we can take Calais, we can basically cut off the British, but these defenses are not going to be easy. Where's our troops? Conscripts, elite infantry, unread event. Monumental assault cut their rails. This region is important for the Allied rail line. With the southward connection, one of the most vital passengers in the air. We need you to take control of this region. Doing so will support our eventual assault on Verdun itself. Capture St. region. What was that? St. Mirahand. I can do that. Information. Destroyism. An army is only as strong as the will of its men. Defeat enough of them and not only do their replacements hesitate on the battlefield, but their potential replacements hesitate to sign up. Defeat 10 French companies. Field order. Gas shells. By 25. Now, there are many ways to win in the early war. As far as concrete peat or chlorine gas. As far as concrete pits. Ability to use chloran, which increases physical and moral damage to company compared to tear gas. Phosgene. Upgrades of phosgene gas increase physical and moral compared to the chlorine, mustard, and then improved gas shells. Recon fighter aircraft. Bombers. There's so much you can invest in, such as advanced artillery, artillery ammo efficiency, field order time shells, unlocked air burst shells for heavy artillery company. That's actually like really dangerous. Basically, like, with this, there's so much you can do. There's intelligence. I honestly don't know what intelligence does. Logistics improves your ability to... Infantry makes your, infantry just, better. Ah, you can unlock flamethrowers. 1, that's 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 research for that. And then we have field reconnaissance for fighter jets. We could go bombers, which would... There's a lot you can do for this, but we're going to go a little historical, and instead of running for aircraft and casts, we are going to acquire gas shells. Let's...
Wir haben neue Befehle. Ausrücken!
You move
Warten auf
there.
Befehle. Wir sind
You move
unterwegs.
there.
Bereit machen. Bewegt
You
euch.
move there.
Achtung! Wir haben neue Befehle. Wir müssen los. Wir haben neue Befehle. Jetzt aber im Laufschritt. Warten auf Befehle. Ausrücken. Bereit
You
machen.
move there.
Wir sind unterwegs.
You move there.
Achtung!
Nope.
Wir haben neue Befehle. Bewegt euch!
That should be good enough.
Neue Befehle gehen ein. Los!
Wir haben neue Befehle. Wir müssen los.
You're gonna head there. They're locked because they're en route. I'm going to end my turn here. And we are going to fight the battles. Where is this? Yep. We're going to engage. Ah, that's where that is. Now, the reason why we're engaging in this battle, even though it's projected to be a loss, it's important for us to hold and to make this line as difficult for them to take as possible. After all, the enemy cannot progress if they're charging headfirst into... well, if they're charging headfirst into our front lines with gas shells flying all around, it will be... well... itself was a stalemate. Our replenishing wow, only 48.3 gold. Versus them, they have 683.4 gold. Sure, they were able to, well, we were able to inflict, holy shit, 6,800 basic infantry? They only inflicted shy of 500. Then they were able to get a control point. Well, let's go back to the world map. I'm impressed with my performance. Then again, I did do my best. Well, I gasped early, but I did my best. Did you know you can achieve many air missions if you can activate many air missions if you have aircraft companies at the same time? But they must refuel one at a time after they leave the map. That's how that works. So you can run multiple air missions at once. So if you have like 10 air companies, you could launch 10 missions. But they gotta rearm, refuel one, then the next, then the next, then the next, then the next. So it's this really slow process, but it's an effective one. And honestly, I need to see how expensive bombers are. Because the cast missions that might be something I might want to do to inflict a lot of early casualties. Especially, like, I know they've taken the supply mission, so guess what? We're going to launch an attack on this point. There's a lot we can do to play around here. Alright. I know, not a lot going on. I'm also replying to idiots online. Yep, stalemate. And we've completed our objective, so that's 400 gold. Are they going to launch any more attacks, or did they learn that? No, they did not. So I'll end. If you're wondering why I'm removing these defensive structures, it's two reasons, actually. The first is while, yes, these are free, but they can also be used to, stage the enemy. So I don't want them. I want a heavy field artillery.
Melde mich zum Dienst!
Now the thing with this game is that you can build any defensive structure you want. So that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Verstärkung macht Meldung. Verstärkung bereit. Wir sind eingetroffen und warten auf Befehle. Wir kommen wohl zu spät zur Party. Melde mich zum Dienst. Verstärkung macht Meldung. Verstärkung bereit.
With the machine gun, do I do a machine gun nest? It'd be nice to have the machine gun nest. The problem is, like, how big is this? If I mount this, well, I can't mount that there, but if I mount that there, they'll gun down anything that gets close. And sure, it might interfere with the artillery, but I mount this here. Oh. Hmm. Fine, that's going there, and I'm just gonna have to deal with this. I'm putting a
Wir sind
second
eingetroffen und warten auf Befehle.
troops in both of these front lines because I don't want them.
Zu spät zur Party.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. That's regular infantry. Okay. I think I'm good to start this battle. Yes. I have no fear nor shrinking. I have seen death so often, it is not strange or fearful to me. Wow. Here comes the assault. Our supplies are severely depleted.
Seid bereit, Jungs!
Damn, I'm only gonna get one good shot at this. Damn. Huh. They have barrage balloon.
Beschützt diese Position!
Gasgranaten laden! Wir haben unsere Ziele!
And suddenly you realize why I designed this in such a way. Y is completely defended, and the base is completely defended.
Die dürfen dieses Gelände nicht bekommen!
I don't care if they take the Y point. Or the X point. Gas is better suited against trench lines. You'll see that in the next episode when I go on the offensive. But I would have range of this, and I probably could have gassed this area. Or just at least launched artillery strikes at everything. Cause damage. Yeah, I should not have wasted that on a gas shell. Because that's 80 for that. Damn. They have not used artillery, so... Not like they can't see this. There's the artillery.
Warten auf Befehle. Feuer frei! Bereit machen! Achtung! Angriff! Wir haben neue Befehle. Feuer! Wir haben neue Befehle. Wählt eure Ziele! Warten auf Befehle. Feuermänner! Bereit machen! Feuer frei! Achtung! Wir sind verloren!
What the fuck are you doing? Get back in your trench.
Wir haben neue Befehle. Wir haben neue Befehle. An die Linie! Warten auf Befehle. Angriff! Bereit machen! Feuer! Achtung! Wählt eure Ziele! Wir haben neue Befehle. Wir haben neue Befehle. Warten auf Befehle. Bereit machen. Feuerstellung einnehmen. Achtung! Feuermänner! Befehle. Bereit machen. Achtung! Wir haben neue Befehle. Wir haben neue Befehle. Warten auf Befehle.
You suddenly see why attacking like this was such a necessity.
Bereit machen. Achtung! Wir haben neue Befehle. Wir haben neue Befehle. Warten auf Befehle. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen. Bereit machen.
Accept the ceasefire. Yeah, I kind of blundered with that, The Stepper, Gurnish. Battles in this war are won by inches, not miles. The enemy has decided to cut his losses and end hostilities for now. Our forces have taken some damage, but we can fight again another day. Yes, we can.
And as the end draws near, November dawned. With losses so severe, ceasefire, their forces withdrawn. November 11th, setting the score from 15 to 20 million. Almost half of the dead civilian. A new world will fall from bears fall in the end of the war to end war.